Hey, welcome back to the Real Estate Excellence Podcast. My guest today is bringing 20 years of experience in marketing and now real estate. As many of you heard consistently on podcasts with many of the top agents, social media, internet, which is lumped into a phrase called digital marketing. My guest today is not only an agent, but a senior vice president of Cloudmellow, a full-service technology and digital marketing company. Get ready, take notes as I welcome our guest today, Natalie Dunlap from Crystal Clear Realty.
Hey, Tracy, how are you?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I was digging in to your stuff this morning, and the more, because normally I would do it on Sunday night, so I'm fresh, but I had other things going on, so I got up early this morning. I was like, oh, this is going to be good.
You were a stalker.
I do stalk on Facebook, but going through your material, and this is so, it's amazing how things come at the right point. This is like a topic that's been hot, but it's a topic that's out there with the agent world as well as the loan officer world. Sure. And that's the presence of digital marketing, social media, all that, everything on the internet, right?
Absolutely.
Digital marketing, if we could summarize it up.
We kind of call it disruptive marketing, right? Like, how do you get noticed nowadays?
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
so much out there.
Yes. So that I want to dig in so much, and that I'm actually so excited about this and what you can share with us. And then really anybody listening today, if you are not think your game is where it should be as far as digital marketing, that they can reach out to you or one of your associates.
Absolutely.
And get some consultation or wherever you lead us.
Sure.
So we'll dig into that. But read on your notes, you grew up here in Jacksonville.
So I did grow up here in Jacksonville. I consider myself a Jacksonville native. I wasn't born here, but I've been here since I was 2.
Okay.
I grew up on the south side of town, live at the beaches now. Have family all over Jacksonville, so I'm just really fond of the city. I'm proud of where the city's come from, and I'm excited to see what happens kind of over the next decade, because we have seen a lot of changes. We also are in the presence of a lot of people that see the wow and aha factor that Jacksonville offers. Mm-hmm. So we're welcoming a lot of new people. And for the real estate side and the mortgage side and basically everything that touches that, right?
Yeah, which is
that's
a lot.
Like the whole economy, right?
Right.
When people are buying and selling and moving and shaking, it really affects everything, even my core business. So it's been excited to see people accept Jacksonville as a place on the map and their home, and I'm happy to always help them.
And if I saw an article correctly, we were like number 5, the greater Jacksonville area in as far as jobs.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes. Absolutely.
And it's not. And not only do we need service jobs follow the if we want to call it white collar job, a lot of the financial jobs. Obviously, different banks have put their headquarters here. Deutsche Bank, etc. Are headquartered here in Jacksonville, and obviously those are good paying, solid technology jobs. A lot of them in finance and so forth, and then the service jobs obviously have to follow to help those people out. And
I kind of classify them into buckets like traditional jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what you and me, we go to work and we actually go to a brick and mortar.
Right.
And some of us don't, and some of us are hybrid. And and what about the whole world of like the whole gig space workers, right? The people that want to work today and get paid today. And that's an interesting concept too.
I've talked to people. There are a lot of these technology guru guys that are literally surfing at the beach, and they go back to their house, and they're creating an app, or
they're making real money.
They're making real money,
just a different way.
Exactly. So you went to UNF.
I did. I went to UNF and then studied mental health counseling and marital counseling.
Oh, okay. So that was kind of the initial career.
Yeah, my career path was I was going to be a marriage counselor.
Oh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've had a couple unsuccessful marriages.
We got experience.
I have experience, and I realize I'm probably not set out to sit on a couch and counsel people about their life.
Right. So how long did that last? Did you even really get into that?
Yeah. I did all my hours that were required, and that was kind of the aha moment of like, I really don't like this. And immediately I went into advertising. I worked for a publication and then got headhunted by a traditional advertising
So this
company
is about the mid-2000s.
This is about the mid-2000s.
Right.
Yeah, 2002, 2004 is kind of when I started launching my career in advertising and marketing.
So at that point, what kind of marketing and advertising are we talking about?
Very traditional. When you talk about advertising, right? Paid dollars to advertise, you're talking about billboards. You're talking about a ton of focus on branding. electronic media like your cable, your network,
Cable
your
television, commercials.
radio. Yes. Streaming wasn't even there yet.
No.
Streaming wasn't even there.
I don't even know if Blockbuster was still around, and Netflix. I don't know, when did that actually go down?
Blockbuster was still around.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Again, the whole streaming era didn't come on until about 15 years ago.
Right.
So I always kind of had a mobile first mindset. I knew in my mind people want now. And so my whole career I kind of focused on how can you be the best and how can you be accessible quickly in something that's convenient for people, because people want a convenient shop.
100%. And how many people were doing it on our phones all day long?
Oh, yeah, I rarely even use a laptop.
You didn't think about that 15 years ago. I mean, BlackBerry was the thing, and you didn't do that kind of stuff on there. And that's so you get in here, you're doing traditional market pieces, which most people, at least my age, your age or less, there's still some places for it. But how did you migrate your career from that mindset of selling the ads or a radio ad or a billboard to what really people are after today?
Sure. I've been very fortunate that I've always kind of had that insight into what's coming up next, and usually before that new decade of technology comes about, I feel like I have that insight, and so transformatively the migration from dollars spent in a traditional sense to how people consume things, right? I kind of noticed in my own life, I'm not consuming things by reading the paper. Now people are so behavior driven, so I probably didn't cancel the newspaper coming to the end of my driveway until about 5 years ago.
Right.
It was habit. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Did I read it? No, I didn't digest my news like that. So I started realizing years ago, about 12, 15 years ago, that things were really, this World Wide Web was really it. Right. And even now what I realize is the ability for people to purchase and not have to go out, because we are, right now we're being programmed to do double or triple what we used to have to do. Our workday doesn't end at 5 anymore. Right.
Right. Because it's at our fingertips.
It's at our fingertips.
We don't have to do it in the office.
And knowledge. So, I kind of saw that transformative era from traditional advertising to digital advertising in about 2010. And at that time, I had launched my first business. Fast forward 10 years, I'm partners at Cloudmellow Marketing, and all we do is digital. So our last client that was traditional focused has been gone for some time, building websites, building lead generation landing forms. And of course, all of this has spilled over to my real estate investment and real estate agent mindset.
The room is shaking because the stone train is going to buy. Do you feel the room shake?
Oh, yeah, I see it actually as well.
Yeah, it's right out there, yes.
I do see it.
So if you feel the camera shaking, that is the stone train. So how does you because we're talking about, to me, I don't know if this might be simplifying it or being a little and somewhat extreme. You're going from almost like a horse and buggy to the speed train.
Yeah. And it's hard to understand. Yeah. There's so many moving parts.
Right.
So first of all, you have to be one to want to drink knowledge, educate yourself, read and research. My whole team, I kind of have a big focus on research and development time. I think that's key. How can we take on a client or a customer and not know about them and their industry or their likes, right? Doesn't matter whether you're selling a home or selling
or the trends, which are changing constantly in our digital marketing space. I think people like the Reels, Facebook Reels or Instagram Reels. Obviously, they're related. TikTok and doing their little thing. And me being a user, and obviously I'm studying, because, the content that comes from the podcast and stuff, how do you market that out there, and learning the little reels and stuff. But watching, people are getting hooked on that. Sure. And now many people will deny it, but I'm telling you, if you do not get hooked and have to stop yourself on these reels, because some of them are really good.
Yeah.
And how people are using them in the advertising, in the marketing space.
So content is king is one of those transformative lingos that we used 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. And it's true. It's just content is in the form of video. It's in the form of dance. It's in the form of text. From a search engine standpoint, obviously text is very important, right? Search engines have a desire to link you, right, with people that are interested in topics that you serve.
Right.
So that's always key. And you mentioned something like, how do you keep it so simple, you know? And
well, I try to keep it simple.
I think
my
most
motto's
people,
KISS. I keep it simple, stupid. My wife doesn't like that.
Yes, yeah, no.
I'm like, honey, trust me. Yes, that's what the KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. You're not insulting anyone.
I love that about you, because most people want to keep it simple.
Yeah.
And again, we're in that mind frame of there's just so much coming at us. So keeping things simple, especially when you're trying to understand something new, is important. I'm a big believer of brand. I think it's important to have a solid business proposition that you can intellectually articulate with people. I think if you have been in business for more than a year and you don't have a set elevator speech, I think you need to work on that so that you can concisely tell people what it is you're doing. And then I also think, you know, people spend so much time, and you know this, on crafting a voice and a message, but really you got to build audience, right? Because then what's the point of crafting a voice or a message?
Right.
So I believe in branding and building a brand and understanding what that value is,
so,
and then an audience.
A gentleman who I actually mentioned before the show, Travis Chappell, that coached me, and Eric Skarzinski is his partner, coached me. So Travis has said numerous times on it, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, will make more money off his tequila that he sells simply by the endorsement by his name, because now he's created, through wrestling and the movie, so many followers that if he says go buy the tequila, they're going to buy the tequila. Yeah.
It's amazing.
And creating that audience that will do not something crazy. Obviously, you don't drink tequila, you're not likely to do it, but he has such a following that if they're going to buy any tequila, it's going to be his, because he's just created this.
And I think people that are proud of that audience that they built, I think those are the successful ones, because we all know you can create. Do you remember this? This is funny too, but back in the day when we transformed from traditional advertising to the whole digital world, there would be companies that would actually help you get likes. Right, because that was the big thing.
Yeah,
and people would use them.
Yeah.
I can remember clients saying,
Instagram followers now.
Yeah. And I said, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that, because the authenticity, people aren't stupid, and people can see this company. Why would it have followers in this area of the country or this area of the country?
So that was a subject. That was a subject on a couple podcasts ago about the person, and Instagram set up there. Well, if you have 10,000 followers, you can use the swipe up. There's different. Yeah. When you get so many followers, you reach this certain, and of course, it's a status thing to say, hey, I got all these followers, when really you don't. But now, I was listening to a podcast, and again, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, with an EXP agent out of Salt Lake City, the Massive Agent podcast. He had done the buying with his Instagram to pump his followers up so he could do the features that they unlock when you get to that many followers. But what he realized was they're not authentic. And now the algorithms are coming back around and saying, oh, you really only have 5,000, not even that. I mean, when you think about really people who are following you all the time, who are clicking, liking, engaging, authentic people.
Yeah, it is. And that even stems further from, all the two-factor authentication that we have to do right now. It used to never exist.
Right.
When you signed up for something, you just put in something.
Do you think it was just do you think so? Obviously, it wasn't Instagram who was selling you, hey, we'll get you fake followers.
No,
so
definitely
there was these bots, coming in, and that was their way of squashing it, because now they put in an algorithm in there to figure out who was doing that and shut that off. But because obviously we're on Real Estate Excellence.
Yes.
So I want to cross over. We're going to go back to the digital. But when did you start dabbling in? I saw some things on investing and so forth. When did you start dabbling into the real estate market?
So when I was 20. My father was a developer and a builder and a serial entrepreneur, and I always saw him do well with real estate. When I was 20, I bought my first flip. This was
right here in Jacksonville?
Right here in Jacksonville. I probably have done about 12. And this past year, I bought 6 places, right?
Oh,
it's a good time to buy right now, right? We're not going to see a slowdown anytime
especially
soon.
if you get them in at the right price and you can do the fix-up.
Absolutely.
Or rent them out, obviously.
Or the rental market, as we all know, is absurd right now. But I really got into it because we all have our daily grind, if you will, right? And I'm so fortunate that I love my daily grind, but I also love the real estate industry. It allows you to think creatively, kind of like the digital world too, but it allows you to think creatively. It allows you to kind of determine where it is you're going and what you're doing. So that's always nice, and it allows you to help people. So I think that's good.
You bring up a real great term there, creativity.
Yeah.
So let's just go back. I'm going to go back because my last guest, Sarah Rocco, who was on last week, she started about 6 years ago, and she talks about social media. But I mean, so that it was really just, starting to become of, this is a space the real estate agents need to be in, or the real estate industry needs to be in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So some of these, I find there's still some people stuck in the mud because, again, they're not keeping, as you had to develop from the traditional advertising to digital, that they're still stuck in what they were doing 10 years ago and think that's working today.
Right.
Even though the very top people are telling you Instagram is their area, or Facebook, whatever it is.
Sure.
They're talking about digital marketing is why I'm so excited about this podcast. But they're so stuck in the mud, which obviously you did not stay stuck in the mud. You moved with what was going because you had to, or you would have been out of business very quickly.
I do, and my broker and good friend Crystal Duckworth, who was on your podcast, very forward thinking, right? I mean, she has a brand. Regardless, people out there, if they like it or not, the shiny and diamond.
Crystal clear. Yeah,
I mean, you remember it, right? It's disruptive.
I have to think of her. I have to think of her last name.
Duckworth.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm just.
So should be Crystal Bling.
Crystal. Yeah, really.
But she does really well, and you know what?
Crystal, the rock star realtor. That's how I remember her.
She is,
yes,
and she is, and you know what? There's no shame in her game. She is out there 24/7. She, I will tell. The one secret I think from a real estate perspective when it comes to marketing is there's something we consider in digital marketing called owned media, right? Mm-hmm. Something that you own because you've earned it, right? And those are things like emails, social media followers, and colleagues and friends.
Emails meaning your email list.
Your email list, right? That's something you own. It doesn't cost anything to put it out there, right? Yeah. Phone numbers. Mm-hmm. So think about anything you can own that you have earned. Email addresses, phone numbers, social media followers. Those are 3 key things there that just keep you top of mind. And on the broker side, she's done an amazing job with that. And that only trickles down to the agents that, work with her. So,
well, I mean, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, how are you staying top of mind? You were doing with the gentleman with the cards, you're sending thank you cards every month. Yeah. That type of thing. That was the way you were trying to stay top of mind. What that would cost today with postage and everything to send every one of your past clients, and he had 13,000 sales. Sending out 1,000. How much would that cost you?
Stopping by a house.
If you took that same amount of money and dropped it into a digital marketing person, or if you did buy Facebook Boost or whatever. Yeah. But what you could do with digital marketing today for literally almost nothing. Right. It just blows them up.
Yeah. So audience, and then what we're talking about right now is reach, and the power of reach. And you can't find the power of reach how we used to find it before, by dropping off baked goods and signing a letter, right? Yeah. People still appreciate those things, and that should be part of the mix of what we're doing. But by all means, if you are selling real estate or anything, right, I think there's a couple things that people look for: cost, perceived value, and quality. And if you have those 3 things, I think
if I was selling that cell phone, I would think, but
this one might not be good.
Yeah, and this is what I want to dabble into, and what you're consulting if whether it's Crystal or other agents are in the real estate space, but the ability to build like and trust without actually ever even meeting someone face to face, but by creating that, having those connections and people seeing you regularly posting. The like and trust factor, which is a cornerstone of all these personal development books. All I'm talking about, you got to build like and trust before they'll buy something from you, right? So, in the ability, so you've got a new agent, or maybe we've got agents on here that are stuck, or they're talking about, digital marketing. I don't know how to do it. Where do I start? Where do you start consulting someone with that.
Sure.
And how to get those first baby
So
steps, I
if
guess.
you are what you sell, right? And again, I agree with you. People do business with people they like. That's fundamental 101.
Right.
So if you are, right, your business, and for real estate agents, they are, or
Yep.
mortgage brokers, or I think first is, again, create a persona, right? Whether it's the authentic you or something you want to be known as, create that, and then think about how am I going to get that out to people, and then create your little buckets. I'm a big person on like just knowing the buckets that you're filling, and you always want to develop new people, so you kind of have to keep a steady stream of new people, and that's what's great about social media. That's great about podcasts. That's great about any kind of streaming, is new people that find you
Would
interesting.
you put in the new people bucket the fact that social media is reaching out to your friend's liking it, and all of a sudden you're entering their circle?
Absolutely. We call that a sphere of influencers.
Right. You're growing your sphere through their sphere.
Yeah. And those people are endorsing you just by the fact that they like you online.
And you're friends with one of their friends.
Yeah. Let me ask you a key question too, and then I'll go back to this other.
I don't know how key it is, but let's go.
Are you, think about social media 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
Are you so much more picky on who you are letting into your bubble?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you ever go back and unfollow people?
I don't often do that unless they're
Obnoxious.
unless they're truly not. And I fell into the political thing there, and now I don't do anything like that at all.
Yeah.
I stay clear away from making any sort of statement. I'll see statements from people who I like, and I may agree with them. I don't share them or anything. I don't, and it's actually cleaned up my Facebook, so to speak. I don't get them as often as I used to because I'm not interacting with those comments and so forth. So it's clean up. But I definitely, when someone new, which a lot of times on the podcast, the podcast will go out, and like your friends will actually request a friendship with me.
Yep.
And so I go in and I look at who they are, what are they doing? They're another real estate agent. Okay, they probably saw the podcast or something, and then I'll friend them.
Yeah. I noticed how much I've become much more picky on who I kind of let in. So when I talk about for a new real estate agent, fill the new client bucket, right? I do it the same at Cloudmellow.
How can you get the attention of new clients?
Of new people, because that's really key for your pipeline, right? Your pipeline's going to dry up, and then you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't sell anything, right? So your new set of business is really important, and that traditional sense of networking and doing meetups, and luckily Jacksonville, people like to get together.
Right.
Like even during the pandemic, we were kind of the first back in swing
We
of
were
like
fighting
we can't.
it.
we kind of need people. So try and do that traditional networking and fill that pipeline, and then use your social media, your email addresses, your text messages to introduce yourself to people.
So you go to a social.
Yeah.
My man Jordan here goes to a social over at X Real Estate Gallery. What should he be doing? Should he be going, hey, do you have a Facebook, and liking them right there?
Yeah, absolutely. So the back in the days when you were like, oh, can I have your number? You know what I mean? Now it's like, hey, let me connect with you online.
Right.
And then let me send you an email. So I think emails are really important. We all get spammed so much by email. How many of us get excited when it's like a real email from like a real friend?
Right.
It sounds silly, but right? Like I don't want to shop at, I don't want 19 emails from Nordstrom and everything else.
Yeah.
I love it. If you were to email me, I'm like, oh, those emails I'm reading through. Again, that personal interaction. So again, just continue to get those.
So you would share whether it's any of the social medias that you're both on, Facebook, Instagram, your TikTok, whatever. Do that right there and create, because you're face to face with them, but now you're also creting the digital relationship.
You're familiar.
Right.
Voice is familiar, right? When you talk to somebody, you're like, oh, I already have that connection.
Because I'm hearing a lot, in different podcasts and so forth, and I went to a video, you want to create a relationship with someone. They've on Facebook and there's pictures and they're out with their family. They got a dog. I don't know, whatever it is, but you're finding out you are stalking, but you're finding out a little bit about this person.
Sure.
It's like, oh, this might be someone I might hang with.
And you're going, oh, that person's kind of like me. They have a dog and a kid.
Kids and they're exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that creates conversation already.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is, and we've all been there, right? Someone may not be a sale for you, but they might be for us professionals that have been in this a long time. You kind of know the cycle of where they're at, right? So maybe they already have an agent, but they haven't closed yet, or maybe they haven't hit the mortgage side yet. So use your sphere of influencers and people that you endorsed to say, I'm so glad you have someone helping you. Have you used Jet for, have you
picked
do you
your
realize they're
insurance
Jacksonville based?
agent?
Hey, I know you haven't been to closing. My friend just opened a title company. She's done about 100 closings. She would love to add you to her. So again, that creates a resource for them. And just by default, you'll realize you'll get endorsements.
I say this all the time. John Maxwell and his 25 ways to influence people is introducing them to other people.
Ancillary
referring
sales.
them to their, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the sale may not be direct to you, but it's an ancillary sale within your industry, and that's going to help you in the long run.
It makes you look good.
Right. Plus, how many of us have had bad experiences and we want to work with the best people? So it's always good to refer people.
Well, when I go to a social setting, like one of those network things, I start introducing people. Hey, do you know so-and-so?
Yeah.
Because to me, that is the influence that I thought enough of you to introduce you to this person that I, type of thing. And it's so powerful. And, from that standpoint, but just as a little tangent onto that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're the new bucket.
How are we getting business, ancillary sales, because it will come back pay it forward. It'll come back to you.
Yes.
And then think about those existing customers, right? We are all so busy, so sometimes you're like, I totally forgot I did business with this person 4 years ago. Actually, my partners who are in Dallas just called me and they said, hey, what about the 147 clients that we have worked with over the last 10 years? What are they doing? And I said, you're kind of right. I don't know what half of them are doing. So that's kind of my goal this month, right? And for all of us that are professional, we get off track. I don't always fill my buckets, right? But you have to just do better, right? There's opportunity.
I got a great tip. This probably is something that you already recommended. One of the top agents in the entire area was here a few weeks ago. And she said she has her VIP page, which is all her past clients, private Facebook page. And so she's constantly putting content out there, so she knows her group is getting it, and then she runs a contest once a month. I don't know, whatever it might be, for a gift card to Starbucks or something. On there to keep them somewhat active. But always.
I think I know the person you're talking.
Yeah,
about.
you probably do. And but I thought it's like, wow, that's how simple. You just, every customer at close, you invite them in there, and then you're building up this over time, and you don't have, it's in Facebook, it's yours forever. It's not like you have to go to some CRM to dig it out or whatever. It's there. And
she creates some fun. So I think that's good because again.
And staying top of mind.
Yeah.
Top of mind.
Yeah, I think that's important.
So you've got this agent that just has a roadblock, lid, whatever. You had the past clients and the new clients. Was there any other buckets?
Your existing client base of past clients. You need to consistently nurture them.
What about the if I can add another bucket there is just things that you're involved with.
Right.
Like for me, I do get a lot of referrals. It's my alumni club here, and I'm the president of. So a lot of the guys, they're looking for me when I speak. They're looking for information. Yes. But I'm also putting, that side content, the podcast. They're seeing me all the time on social media, reminding them I'm in the business. I'm in the business.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just left Dallas again a few weeks ago. I go back and forth frequently, and I spoke at this women's conference called Returnship, which at first was, sometimes we're busy and people ask you to do something and you're like, I don't know. But this was great because, again, after the pandemic, I want to get out and do things. So number one, just broaden and get outside of your comfort zone, right? I go there and it's returnships about women that are trying to enter the workplace again. So maybe they stayed home for their family. And these are, may I say, bad bleep women. These are really strong women. They were executive level and they took a hiatus, and now they need to go back. Highly educated. But a lot of them had the same core question: how do I restart my career and my business? And first and foremost, people aren't going to come to your couch and in your house, so you better get out there and you start showing your face and showing that you are someone with experience in an industry that maybe you left. And no different from a lot of reasons why people go into real estate. If you ask a real estate agent why did they go into business, I mean the answers are going to be pretty similar. Flexible work schedule. I have a family. I need income. Yeah. That's so true. That is so true.
Well, there is consistently a lot of agents who, they were stay-at-home moms and wanted to get back in, or they were stay-at-home moms and then got divorced,
Yeah.
and now they had to enter the workforce, and they jumped into real estate. And
Yeah.
amazingly, they did. So talking about that and then re-entering the workforce, and talking about the different digital platforms, let's talk about LinkedIn.
Yeah.
How important is it to, because I think some people, the mindset is, oh, I'll use LinkedIn when I'm looking for a job.
Yeah.
But
no,
really, people, that's all. It's maybe
Yeah, it
not.
should
It's
be
not
part of your mix
YouTube
of
or
social.
Facebook, but it is. There is
Yeah.
customers there, another customer base.
Sure. And not only that, it's again letting a large mass of people know what it is that you do, or what it is that you want to do, or how you can help them, right? Your business proposition. The first thing that people have a mistake on LinkedIn is their privacy settings. If your setting is on private, unlock that, because people can't see you. So I always tell people, if you're in an industry that you need to network, right?
Do you want to open up? You want to let people know? Because
Right.
how many are you instructing and it's not really relevant to them that obviously here in Florida we got a lot of out of the state buyers, right? They're Googling you.
Yeah, absolutely.
They want to see who you are.
Sure.
And obviously if your LinkedIn pops up, you want to make sure your LinkedIn looks good and is up to date, and everyone will go, oh, I got some background, just the same way I searched you today. But they're doing the same thing. And even though that LinkedIn, you think LinkedIn is not related, but there are people that are looking at it to see, do you have your stuff in a pile?
Sure.
Yeah.
And you probably feel the same way. We've been in the professional world for a long time, so people that know me know my character, my work ethic, what I do. But what I forget is your profile online and what you say about yourself online. Those people don't know me. So I have to up my game online all the time. And LinkedIn for me is one of those places that I constantly try and elevate my own profile, because I read other people that are, have much less tenure than me, and I'm like, they sound amazing online.
Isn't that like those, like hiring a resume writer?
Writer, yeah.
A resume writer is going to use more descriptive words, make you sound. That you have the same experience, it just make you sound like you're bigger and better than it. Not really lying, but it's the
true.
way they say it.
Yeah, first
the way
impression.
they express, so that you just like ring a bell. Like how do you describe yourself?
Yeah.
And because obviously when I pull up everyone's LinkedIn that's coming on the show, just to and I do look at their little bio, and sometimes I'll clip it and I'll put it in the show notes because it was done really well.
Mine probably wasn't.
To invest a little bit, and I imagine that it might be a service that you guys offer, and when you're going through someone's digital marketing plan, is to find those, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook business page or whatever, you're putting in that thing that generally you write and you set it.
Yeah.
You might change the years. Like I've been in the business so many years, and you got to go in there and update that number every year. But how it's said, and just to hire a professional to write that and make you look. That's just,
or how it's not said. I have so many clients that have been in business running multi-million-dollar companies that say they don't want social profiles because that's one more thing that they're going to have to manage. And it's like, well, first of all, leave it to us, number one.
Yes, exactly.
But second of all, you really need it. And now I do agree that some industries are kind of open themselves up to negative, like you can't make everyone happy. That's realistic, right? It's unrealistic to think that you're going to make everyone happy. But if you're a business doing a couple million, you need social profiles. Absolutely.
And you should have someone on staff or someone consulted out.
Either or.
That's going through that every few months and making sure everybody's
Someone's got to be
up
accountable for it, for sure. It's very
people are
important.
searching you. People are searching you online. I was talking to a friends of mine the other day, and they were talking about how their son likes to look up everyone's net worth, whatever that does for him. But people, that means he's searching people online.
Yeah.
And he's not the only one.
Yeah.
So it's you gotta keep that clean. And so I think that brings up, like, your business is just got to constantly be growing as people are getting a little more educated. Like, you know what, I need to hire that consultant. Or if you do have a large company with a lot of salespeople, you may have to hire a full-time person to do the digital marketing and making sure everyone's Facebook and LinkedIn and all those other things are.
Sometimes salespeople are not detail people, so help them out. Right?
Or they're doing what they're doing and not even realizing you may be missing some customers over here. A little touch up on some of your social media and bring it all together. How important is it in the real estate space right now? You're only going to strengthen the 60 other agents, because I'm sure what your answer is that you have to get your hands around the digital marketing. Whether you're doing it yourself and you're good at it to a certain level, or maybe even hiring a coach or consultant to get you started, or just hire someone full time. I mean, are you seeing
It's
this
so
growing
important.
in the space?
Yeah, I mean, it really is kind of like a check mark, right? In any industry, but specifically real estate, where it's very people driven and relationship driven. There is nothing, getting a compliment from a customer is one thing, but being able to share that compliment, like we couldn't do that before. We just kind of drank it in and said, thank you so much. I'm so glad I could help you. Nowadays,
And no one's going on Rate Your Lender to look up your review.
No. You know what's so funny? I have college kids.
But they will scan down your Facebook thing to see if you had put any comments on there.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
They need like a rate your realtor or something.
There is a rate your realtor.
Is there?
Yeah, there is a rate. There's a rate your lender and a rate your realtor.
There's a rate your professor. I heard this.
Oh yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, should I take this class?
That's really good.
Yeah. I didn't realize that.
Somebody started. I forget. I heard that was like, I don't know how many years ago I heard that, but yes, so some kids got like, oh, let's rate your professor. They've actually made a business out of rating your professor.
Very smart.
Yes.
Very smart. The other thing to let new agents know is a lot of, especially on the Apple side, right? There's a lot of privacy and security regulations, rules, defaults that are coming with new phones and things like that too. Privacy to me is going to be a huge topic in the next, 3 to 5 years.
It's like Web 3.0 or something.
Yeah.
It's really into the whole blockchain security thing, and it's going to take things to a whole nother level.
Sure.
You'll have all your stuff really attached. I can't how
well, data sourcing is like one of those.
It's in your phone. You're going to get a new job. You can actually give them, boom, they can sign in, and everything's been verified on you. Your age, whatever. You go to the bar. Oh, how old are you? They just see enough that says, I'm old enough. Yeah. They don't need to see your address and all the other things that are on your driver's license. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I always tell people, like, if you're doing email marketing and you're obviously testing, doing some type of A/B testing, and you go, I didn't get that, like it's not working. It's not necessarily that the platform you're utilizing isn't working. It could be your device.
Settings.
Because it's very true. People don't realize that security is
where can
a big
someone
topic.
go to kind of get...
It's usually as simple as going to your phone settings, your laptop settings, any kind of your handheld device settings, and just making sure that your privacy is public or open. And there are circumstances that you may not want that clearly, but for the sake of your social profiles, like your LinkedIn or your Facebook, that's the whole reason we're on there. So for me, I think if you're trying to build that bucket of new people, you definitely need to have those things open.
Why? So we're going to dip a little bit back into the real estate. We're tipping back and forth.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why Crystal Clear Realty.
So I'm going to start with, I do business with people I like, and I like Crystal Duckworth. I think she's like a genuine person.
Right.
If you haven't met her, she's just really great.
Right.
And I also liked a lot of what she stood for. I'm not like a male female type of thing, but I connect with her as a woman to woman.
Right.
She has a family. She knows what's required. I also like the amount of resources and information that she gives to her agents. It's absurd. Like, you literally could just be in the Crystal Duckworth Crystal Clear Realty school, and you could literally get an email from her every day about something new you should learn. And I apply those things to everything that I do. Right. And I'm probably the biggest fan because I ask the most questions too. So she probably realizes, Natalie reads that stuff. Yes, because it's really interesting. Well, and she hasn't done anything that's like, she hasn't made up the wheel, right? She hasn't recreated the wheel. It's there. But she has mastered it from most angles. Yeah. So.
Well, that spins a little bit into what do you're reading Crystal's email, but what do you do to stay on top of the digital marketing game? Sure. But just, obviously you're professionally speaking, you're being asked to go speak at places. What are you doing? Are you a podcast listener, book reader? Where are you absorbing most of your content?
Yeah, so most of my content comes from news-related sites that are very kind of business-driven. When I'm reading something in the business world that relates to marketing, then I start doing research on that topic. So, like, where do I think the world's going in 10 years, especially, like, from the business side? Because we've learned to pivot, right, through all the businesses in this space. We've pivoted many times over the years. And I think development whether it's app development, software development, website development, I think that's key because people only want their websites to do. Before it was like, I need a website. Now it's I need a better website, right?
Right.
Gone are the days. I have clients that are like still sitting on framework that's 10 years old, and they're like, I love my website. I'm like, oh my gosh, it could be so much better. So I think making sure that your website, your social platforms are working for you. Not that I just have them.
Right.
Is something that I always am focused on. Right.
Do you when you're talking about website, and obviously it's a platform. It's a lot of times it's the first exposure, especially if you're doing advertising online, and someone's going to click there. Where you're driving them to your website, right? And that's for the importance of kind of maybe taking some sort of survey of what people's impressions are of the website, especially the first impression.
Yes, and then
is there something going on? Whatever it is that digital marketing is saying is the thing to do now. Are they up to date?
Yeah. So the term UX UI, which is user experience and user interface, is really key when it comes to development, right? You don't want to just design a website because you need a domain and you need your presence out there. You're really designing it for people. And I think even if you go to Crystal's site, right, I think she does a good job of driving people to places that where they want to go rather than the opposite. Now, if you are hosting a webinar or a certain podcast that you like, you may have a whole takeover of your website and your social media, change everything to be like, this Tuesday you better tune into this. It's big, you know what I mean? So it also, the more platforms you have, it gives you your own platform to voice what's important to you. And so not every day carries the same importance. There's certain milestones in your career that you want to kind of showcase. But for me, I try and talk. My goal is 2 to 4 talks a year. I try and do 2 or 4 advertorials a year, and that's kind of like the PR that I use. I can use those links, and it has heavy traffic and backlinks to our own sites. And then teasers. So on my LinkedIn, whether it's a blog that we're writing or something like that, I don't give you
had
the
an
whole
interview
story.
on there. I went on your LinkedIn, and there was a thing. There was an interview, and I clicked on that and read through the questions just to see if there's any information in there to expand on. Tell us a little bit about Well, I want to step in. So real estate is becoming a big push into the digital marketing area. What other industries are we seeing having that want to have that kind of presence as a whole industry? Because when we say real estate industry, we're talking the loan world, the real estate agents, the title companies, and everybody that supports them and their services of a home, which is pretty huge.
Sure.
So what other industries are you seeing, calling in on Cloudmellow for consulting and so forth? What other industries are you seeing that are doing this push online?
Not necessarily. I don't think we've monetized it from the Cloudmellow site, but to answer your question, I think automotive and travel are 2 industries that we see have had huge changes. People don't want to go sit at a car dealership anymore. So that whole experience, and some brands have done a very good job of that's their platform. You don't have to go do this. We're gonna tailor car buying to you, right? And we've seen those car dealerships, right?
Isn't
and those
that
brands
what
do
CarMax
very
says?
good.
Did you just use CarMax?
Carvana is one. I'm actually not thinking of one in specific.
But that line tailored the car buying experience.
Oh, is that one?
I do believe that.
See,
just rang in my head. I've heard that before.
That's marketing.
Yeah.
So I think travel, automotive, home improvement, I think will always kind of be, it has to stay the same.
Is it the visual?
Although
seeing the car,
I think
before you actually go and go on a lot and then get attacked by a salesperson,
you better have like 48 pictures of that car.
You're going through the different cars and which one looks good because you're already eliminating ones. I don't really like the look at that. It wouldn't look, or whatever, or the colors that they may be offering or something like that. So when you just like going and buying the builders always say most people have seen the model about 6 times because they've gone online virtually.
Sure.
And now, just like the car, they've gone online and seen it all virtually. They just really want to come in and drive it and see, make sure
travel's the same
their
way.
butt
There's so
fits
much
in the seat.
I recently bought a Samsung refrigerator, right? Not Maytag or GE. So I'm one of those that ventured into the Samsung world of kitchen appliances, right? Which some people would be like, oh, that's scary alone. I immediately got the fridge and the ice maker wouldn't work. Do you know that in today's world through Samsung, they immediately connect you with a technician? Not a technician that rings doorbell and comes at Friday at 5. No, a technician that plugs into your phone, and you video the whole experience on troubleshooting. And never would I have known inside of a refrigerator, there's these reset buttons, no different than like a garbage disposal, right? At first I was kind of bothered, like I want a technician to come into my home, except that I realized that literally...
You have to wait for that.
Yeah, she said, take this out, show me the bottom of the fridge. Okay, you're going to reset this button, hold it for 3 seconds, keep holding it, I can hear it. Okay, now it chimed. Boom, ice maker worked.
They're on top.
That is wow.
That is wow. Now a lot of times you can go on YouTube and search that up.
Yeah.
But you're not so confident. But how many industries have not like grasped that?
That you could do.
And now you're bragging about it on a podcast about Samsung because they took some time to meet the technology to the times. And how many are still like, okay, we'll send out a technician. They'll be there on Wednesday 2 to 4. Whatever. It's like, oh my God. And so meanwhile, you have no ice.
Yeah. Whoever is innovative at Samsung that realized like the customer wants the now, and we're in an industry that's bulky.
The now and the wow.
Yeah.
They wowed you. Did they not wow you?
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Yep, exactly.
She even said, turn your camera around. I said, we're going to do selfie time. She said, no. I just want to see underneath.
Right.
I mean, she did it.
That's powerful. And the amount of money they spent on that, they could save their money over here on the marketing side because you're now marketing for Samsung because of that experience. Yeah, that's powerful stuff. So at Cloudmellow, what are some of the services that Cloudmellow offers that real estate agents would possibly be interested in?
Yeah, so we really are about 100% digital for the services that we provide. So our core services is if a real estate broker or a larger company wanted their own individual website, we could build that. If they wanted a mobile app for their own like virtual home tours, we could build that. Search engine optimization, how they could be found quickly, right? We could definitely help them with that.
So your social media presence, someone Googles your name, where are you coming up?
Yeah. So search engine optimization, social media, and really development is key. But maybe they have a brand in their mind, and again, I'm gonna kind of toot Crystal Duckworth's horn. She did a great job of branding. Some people are not. It doesn't come as intuitively as it did to her. So I think we could help with that. Like, what is gonna set you aside from the... How many realtors are there in Jacksonville?
How important, because there's so many social media sites, from LinkedIn to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you're on. Because when you fill, like for the show, you fill out this intake form that says what your social media is. Some people have 1 or 2, some people have 5.
I think whatever's manageable.
But how important is to somewhat give the same branding presence across consistent branding?
Key, absolutely. Yeah. If someone sees me on this professional profile that I have, and then they go to the other one, and it's like, what? I'm
is that
confused.
The same person?
Yeah.
So the pictures are relatively the same and updated. So, and that's a service that you guys would offer, is making sure all their social media platforms are squared away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There is the whole the funnel term, gathering the email addresses leads, and so forth. That is something you guys.
We do. We can nurture
depending
those
on
leads.
what industry you're in and what you're going to need those for. Because I imagine someone goes on a site. I mean, obviously, if people start trying to search on a real estate site, they generally immediately start asking you, give me your name and email.
Sure.
Because they want that. That's really what that site's trying to do.
How am I going to talk to you after we're done with this engagement?
Right.
I want to continue talking to you.
And grabbing that
kind
information.
of creating your lists based on what people are interested in, right? So for realtors out there or for marketers out there, if this type of client is only interested in A, B, or C, whether it's a luxury or more investment, make sure you're giving them what they want. Maybe they don't want everything, And Jacksonville, there's a lot of options in Jacksonville.
Whether it's geographically, age of homes,
price,
whether
point.
you want to be schools or you need to be near the naval base or whatever.
We forget, we forget that when people come here and they go, oh, I really want to live in a family-driven neighborhood. Okay, well, there's like 80 of them. Like, you know what I mean? Where you go to some cities and it's like, oh, you only want to live here.
Right.
So...
Or you want to live in this sector over here.
Yeah.
That is unique about the greater or I say Northeast Florida.
Sure.
Because it's going to capture Nassau County that's all part of the thing. Down south through St. Augustine and now really tipping the Palm Coast. That is Northeast Florida. And there's something for everybody. And whether you want to be, on the canals of Palm Coast,
Yep.
Which you could have bought real cheap. Now those houses are like through the roof now.
I know.
Or you need to live on the west side. Maybe the price point might be a little bit lower, but maybe you want need to be near the Naval Air Station.
Sure.
And what's going on there, or maybe you are the beach person, or like the scene that's going on there, or to me, Mandarin is its own clientele.
It is. It is. We have like these little subcultures everywhere.
Yeah, there's all these little pockets going on. And like I said, Nassau County is about to explode. St. John's is already trending that way. Nassau's building their infrastructure, and it's just going to get a little further out, but. It's,
like when I go to Riverside, I feel like I have like a day trip. Like I'm day tripping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's like, it's like its own little, I feel like I totally left my neighborhood.
Right.
I'm still in Jacksonville, but I have a whole different feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it brings about something different.
We love going down. I mean, we went down to St. Augustine on Saturday night to go to the River and Fort and River.
Oh, yeah.
River and
yeah.
Fort,
Yeah.
What if you have not? And there's a River and Fort. I'm gonna plug them. And there's also the St. George's Inn restaurant, or it's just St. George restaurant.
St. George restaurant.
And replace Al's Pizza right at the end. Excellent.
I know St. Augustine is on the map.
You go down there. We got friends coming into town this weekend, and we're going to go down and spend some time there. We'll probably go to the River Fort again. I don't know. The thing is, they don't take reservations. Right. So you have to get there early. Yeah. Plan to have a few drinks.
We'll get there before summer hits, right? Because summer is it's like anthills.
But it was amazing if you sit in there. I'm like going, hey, there's so and so. Oh, there's so and so. The people that are going in and out of there, and a lot of them are locals. There'll be a lot of tourism there, but the locals are hanging out. It's nice.
People are getting out and exploring our area.
I'm going to go through because we've got about less than 10 minutes left here. So, how can digital marketing change the trajectory of an agent's sales career? What do we want?
So in regular business, when you think of like a pro forma, right, it's kind of like you're projecting what your numbers are going to do and where things are going to go. Mm-hmm. In real estate, I think if you can utilize digital marketing partners or vendors, what you commonly know as vendors, because there's a lot that provide to real estate agents, and they are able to uphold, okay, if you do this, we can reach this many people. I think utilizing digital marketing to kind of project how many people you can reach, and sales is a very simple number for realtors, right? If you reach, or for any industry, if you talk to this many people, the likelihood of you closing this many people will happen, right?
Exactly.
It's a numbers game. So
using it to talk to people, that's an interesting,
using it to talk to people and using it for the reach that it can provide is great, because you can't be everywhere all the time. So when you can't be everywhere, utilize those digital platforms that are available. And if somebody says, hey, you can reach 10,000 people with $50, it's truthful. You can. And
so
then you can
I was talking to a company last week, and we were just talking about, they're more or less getting started, and they want to use the digital marketing space to just make themselves look bigger than they are, because they're new. They just obviously they could come in and drop a bunch of signs, put up a bunch of billboards, and look like they are. Yeah. But to use the digital marketing space to do that versus your traditional. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Perceived size, or perceive that you're authoritative in your industry and you're very knowledgeable. People gravitate
you might
towards
be.
that,
you just need to tell people, right? You
absolutely.
need to get it out there to let them know what knowledge you have. And what are the common misconceptions agents have with digital marketing?
I'm going to sign up for this, and it's going to be really easy, and it's going to do it for me.
Right. It's just one plug and play, one little, basic website, and all of a sudden their phone's going to start ringing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is.
Everything takes work.
And I use the term long-term play.
I agree.
You have to. It's consistency. That anyone that I've heard in the space, and I'm sure you would agree or disagree with me, but you have to be consistent. You can't just go and do one little home buyer little seminar and think all of a sudden I'm going to sit back and now all people are going to start. You got to keep doing them. People got to see you show up. And one of the best advice I got from when I first went from the call center world, and I've told this story before, so listeners listening again here, is don't just jump and go after like some of the big brokers. I was telling Sarah Rocco this, and she said, why? They say because they want to see if you're going to hang in.
Yeah.
So you have to be consistent. And even some of your best friends and family, they really want to do business with you, but they want to see, are you going to stick with this real estate thing?
Sure.
Are you going to stick with the loan thing?
Right.
And, you know, especially if you're new at it, and then that consistency of them seeing you doing it. Oh, wow, okay, they're sticking with, they must be, they're getting pretty good at it. Maybe I can do business with them.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah.
You know, there's, on your phone or on your laptop or even your desktop, there's 3 areas that I think are really key for anybody, especially real estate agents. And one is the paid area, right? If you want to pay to play online, you definitely can, right? There's search-related paid Google ads, right? And you can place those. And there is short-term and long-term value. The value of that one single click is instantaneous, right? It's like a faucet. You're spending, you turn it on, you get some clicks. But the long-term value, if you can nurture that audience and those leads, is really what's key, because you never have to pay for that long-term value. It's always going to be trickling in. So in the beginning, you know, invest in yourself, invest in your business, and maybe do some of those pay-to-play spaces.
Because you can more strategically, if you want to target market your people.
Yeah.
The digital marketing space has the data to really narrow that space down, that you're going after that client. You don't have to send the mailer out the entire zip code. You could send it just to those people.
Be very targeted.
Yes.
I kind of think if you're building a fire and you have 2 sticks, it's not really fun to build that fire. But if you can just instantly put a little bit of wood in it, right? And build it up a little faster, you're going to get excited about it. You're going to talk about it. And I think that's what spreads.
We talked a little bit about I want you. So someone who's not doing it right now, they know they need to do it, but they need that consultant. Are they calling Cloudmellow? Where would someone take that first step in getting someone to consult them on the digital marketing space?
So I always welcome a conversation. I think I learn from conversations. People learn from me, especially when it comes to digital. But yes, pick up the phone, call me, or call the company. You're on
LinkedIn, you're on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Get your attention.
And what an easy name. We don't take ourselves so serious, right? Cloudmellow, right? But yeah, absolutely ask, and I can point you in the right direction based on the budget, the desire, and your goals, you know? And
how many of these bigger companies are you seeing hiring actually a digital marketing person on staff?
A lot of them.
The larger ones.
A lot of them, yes. Yeah.
Because it's something you have to consistently be doing every day. That's their job, is to make sure the company's out there on the platforms.
The bigger thing is, how easy is it to find one single employee that can do paid marketing, email marketing, text marketing, social media, search engine optimization,
right from their laptop,
write content, brand your company, find events and awards and accolades to, you know, boost. I mean, one person doesn't have that skill set. So an agency like a Cloudmellow or any of them, there's great ones in town. We're kind of, it's nice because you pay one fee and you're getting all this skill set based on what you need.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's nice.
So
one person,
versus just hiring one person, because like I said, that one person is not necessarily skilled in all these things.
No, it's impossible.
By hiring the family there, you're getting
my content writer doesn't do digital marketing placement. My digital marketing placer, my digital director doesn't do that. So it's great because you get a plethora of experience and not just one person that you're like, go learn this.
This is powerful stuff, people. I'm telling you, if you're not in the space, you know, we talk about hiring coaches, and whatever you're doing, hiring a coach. I hired a coach to get this podcast started. Hiring a coach to coach you on your real estate business. Hiring a consultant and a coach in the digital marketing space is huge.
Yeah, it is.
It's the digital marketing space versus, you know, I imagine these big, you watch the movies and these big advertising agencies. Trust me, they have people that are focused on the digital marketing space for those big Nike or whoever they might be, you know, working for. They have people that are just focused on that. I think I stole this line. I'm going to use this as my last question. Nothing stays the same. What is influencing in the constant change? I think I stole that from, I know that line. I think I stole it from either your LinkedIn or something. I
think it was on Techstar. Yeah.
Yeah, you're constantly managing the constant change.
Yeah. I mean, innovation's real. I mean, we see it, right? The vehicles we drive aren't powered by gas as much as, you know, they used to be. the world
Or they're a
of
lot cleaner
consumption.
than they
Yeah,
ever were, 'cause you
consumption
can
is
even imagine.
changing. How people want to work and get paid is changing. So there is a constant change, and I think you have to evolve. And if you're fortunate and you're in the end of your career and you're able to retire, well, lucky you. You made it. You passed this
Right.
world of technology crazy.
Right.
But if you're not, you better reinvent yourself.
Right.
And if you see sales sliding, you better figure out a new way to invent clients.
Everyone uses those phrases like, "Oh, that the millennials are buying homes" and so forth, and you have to understand how they market.
Yeah.
And it's not, unfortunately, changing every 15 or 20 years. It's changing every 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's really the difference today.
Absolutely.
And hiring that professional can really shorten your curve real quick. This has been, I mean, well, obviously we could probably go on for hours for sure. But I'm going to finish up here because we've been at an hour here. So these are my standard questions if you've ever listened to my podcast before. Except I'm going to scratch the last one because we talked more about digital marketing. I'll come up with a third. What has been more important in your career? Who you know or what you know?
What you know.
Is really just that knowing the studying.
Oh my gosh! If somebody
marketing.
came to me and said, "Hey, I want you to do this," I said, "Well, I don't know anything about that. Let me figure it out." They'd be like, "Forget it. I'll go somewhere else."
Right.
Yeah, you better know your trade. In my industry, you better know what you're talking about.
What's on your travel bucket list?
Oh my gosh, we have been very blessed to go to a number of wonderful vacations. We are going to the Exumas in June. A chain of islands in the Bahamas. Very small.
Oh, okay.
Very small.
All right.
If you can believe
you have to fly in a little puddle jumper?
You
or
do
boat
fly
out to 'em?
in, and we're excited.
Yeah.
I like warm, clear water. That's kind of my jam. I just got back from a ski trip, though. Skied all 5 days.
That'll wear you out.
And I had like all of my friends' children that call me Aunt Natalie, right? They're not really blood related. I kind of was like, don't call me Aunt Natalie. I had them all behind me on the ski trails, like 8 of them. I was like, oh my goodness.
That's
it was
cool.
fun.
That's cool. I skied one time out in Colorado. We really need to do it again because my kids have never seen snow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you have to.
We were going to do something at Christmas time, and then something happened with one of our rental properties, and I'm like, oh god. And so we did not take that
Next
little hiatus. So yes, we'll do something. Take them up some because I grew up in Massachusetts, so I'm born in New York,
so
but
you're in the
Massachusetts,
snow all the time.
I've seen snow and sort of stuff. My wife's grew up here, just like you. She moved here when she was an infant, and grew up in Jacksonville as well. Yeah. So, Natalie, I appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you so much.
This was so informative. People, digital marketing is the space now. Natalie is a resource for you. Her information will be in the show notes. Reach out to her. She's on LinkedIn. She's on Facebook. I assume you have an Instagram. You study
I have all that.
You got to have all that because you want to study what everyone's doing, right? What's the trends and so forth, and it can really change your business. So.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate it.